Hello guys, how you doing? So welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, in this video, I'm going to be sharing about things never to do in Cape Town, and I'm sharing these things from experience because I went through it so that you don't have to, so that you can know better and do better for yourself. So let's get into the video. But also don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. The first thing you should never do in Cape Town is never hike alone. Like, I know in my country, there are a lot of hikes like you sort of like just do by yourself. And I feel like if you're used to that kind of arrangement, you could easily fall into the trap of thinking that, I have no one to do this hike with and try to hike mountains like Table Mountain or Lion's Head alone. I would not advise for you to do that because it's not advisable. I mean, the treks can be a bit risky. Also, you could easily get lost because they have a lot of treks going around and it's a bit confusing. So make sure you have like a group with you when doing the hikes for safety, for your safety largely, for your safety, but also for the boost because you're going to need that. They're like legit hikes. So you're going to need the morale boost as well. So never hike alone in Cape Town. Second thing is, and this I think is very subjective, but from my opinion, I feel like the Red Bus City Tour is a big scam. And I feel like you won't get your money's worth if you do it. And they did it and I felt like I didn't get my money's worth. I also felt like they also like overpromise and underdeliver. And this is not just on like the time constraints things. It's like even some of the vendors that they say they are working with, because I took the ticket for the City Bus Tour because I wanted to go to certain places, only for me to get those places. And they tell me that they're not receiving City Bus Tour tickets, as in they're booked with just like, direct bookings and they don't receive bookings from like the City Bus Tour. But the guys from the City Bus Tour, they said that these guys are their vendors and they contracted them and they can take you at any time of the day. So you see, so I feel like you should only do the City Bus Tour if you have time constraints. Let's say if you're in the city for like a short period of time and you want to see like as many places as possible as soon as possible, then you can like take the bus and like let it take you around. But if you have time, you're gonna see those places as you move through Cape Town anyway. So like you don't even have to like waste your money for that. And I think the thing that really annoyed me about them is the fact that they say they work with certain vendors and those vendors refuse to take us. And I had already paid. I mean, you can see I feel like they're scam for that. The third thing you should never do alone is do the Bokap tour alone. I think it's a better experience if you do it with other people. And the way Bokap is set is just taking a place where you could just like hail an Uber and like let it take you to the street and drop you there and you walk around the neighborhood and you've seen the pink houses already. But I feel like your experiences will be like more enhanced if you do it with a group. Like I did it with a group and it was like a free walking tour. I'll link the link in the description below. And it was a better experience because I sort of like got to learn the experience of the Bokap as a town and like the experiences of different houses, their histories, their people, their foods. You sort of like intensify your experience in a way if you do it the other way, other than just going there with an Uber, taking like a few photos on the houses and like leave. So I would not advise doing the going there alone. I would advise joining like a group tour or something. And the good thing is that there are a lot of free Bokap tours. So you could easily just do the tour and have the better experience. Number 4, and this is more for my like introvert friends. VA is overwhelming. I feel like all introverts can agree that Victoria and Alfred Waterfront is very overwhelming. And I'm just adding this to the list as things never to do, as in never go to VA during peak hours if you easily get overwhelmed. Like try to go there during like early in the day, or like if you are visiting Cape Town around the time when there are less tourists, I think that's also like a good time to sort of like go there without being overwhelmed. I visited Cape Town in December and it was peak hours, like I was too late in the morning and I was like, I'll just go maybe like midday. So it was like peak hour in peak season And I'm like a proper introvert. I was there for like 15 minutes and I was like overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, I need to go back to the hotel and calm myself down because like I can't operate like this. So just if you feel like you easily get overwhelmed, just try to avoid like the peak hours at VA. Or another alternative would just be like know what you're going to do so that when you go there you do specific stuff that you're going to do, and you don't like mix yourself with the crowds because my nervous system just went on 100. Another thing never to do in Cape Town, and this, I think this only applies for people who are trying to sort of like save money. So if you're on budget traveler, a thing for you to never do would be not to use Uber everywhere. And this only applies for like budget travelers, not for everyone. If you're going to spend your money on like transportation, comfortable transportation, Ubers are fine and they're very efficient. But this is for more budget travelers. Never use Uber or everywhere, and especially if you're planning to stay in the city for like a long time. An alternative would be to get the My Bus card. So they have public buses which are very efficient, they're very comfortable, they're okay, but you need the card to access the buses. So if you're staying there for a while and you're planning to save some money on transportation, maybe you could just get the My City Bus card and like use that to go around instead of using the Ubers everywhere, because I was there for just like around 2 weeks and the Ubers did pile up. Like, so I feel like they could pile up really quick, especially if you're planning to stay like a month or 2 or 3. So that's a tip for you. And last but not least, another thing they should never do in Cape Town, I feel like it's so let me give you a backstory for this. There is this very famous tour that most companies like offer. So they sort of like take you to the 12 Apostle, they take you to the Boulders Beach, and they take you to the Cape Point. So it's called like a Cape Point tour. Most of them call it like the Cape Point tour, and then like keep like different points to stop by. And I feel like they're selling this product wrong, because the way they sell it like it's a tour, like we take you there, tell you the histories and all that. But the way they provide it, it's more like it's just a ride, because they just give you a ride and then they just tell you, okay, so this is the 12 Apostle, 5 minutes, and then you'll be back to the car. And I'm like, ah. So I mean, like, that is say I sort of like expected more from like those tours. Like at least give me a bit of history. Like let's sort of like digest everything as I'm moving. But it was sort of like the drivers felt like they were in a rush. And I think if I were to be in Cape Town again or like redo this tour, I think you're better off just like um, hiring a car and using Google Map and traveling around and seeing these places for yourself, like the 12 Apostle, like the Boulders Beach, Cape Point. You're better off just hiring a car and driving yourself through all the way, because first you're going to have a better experience, because you can like spend as much time as you want in places rather than feeling the rush of like being time. Okay, you're only going to be here for 5 minutes and then you're going to be five, because okay, that icked me. I'll link somehow something about the trip so that you can be warned about that. I don't think you should do that trip if you're ever in Cape Town. I feel like it's not worth the money. Also, most most tour guides sort of like provide it in the same way, which is why I was wondering like why are they like copying and pasting? Because me and my friend had done the same tour with like two different guides, and we had the same problem. Like we're all complaining about the same stuff. So I feel like maybe this is the standard way that they're offering this tour, and I think you should be warned. If you find this video useful, please subscribe to my channel and join my little community, as I'll be sharing more of these travel tips and things you should know about traveling more often. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it to this very end, and I hope this is very useful for you as you're planning your trip to South Africa and Cape Town. Adios.